When World War II ended in 1945, one enemy was gone, but another was already rising. The United States and the Soviet Union, former allies turned rivals, emerged from the ruins as global superpowers. But their unity had been built on necessity, not trust. And now, two visions of the world were ready to collide. One promised freedom, the other claimed equality. One built on capitalism, the other on communism. But in truth, both wanted control. This wasn't a war of armies. It was a war of ideologies, a war fought in silence, in secrets, in the space between truth and paranoia. In Europe, the continent was split. The Iron Curtain fell, dividing East and West. Berlin, once a single city, became a symbol of that divide. A wall of concrete and barbed wire cut it in two. On one side, Coca-Cola and neon lights. On the other, surveillance and silence. By 1949, the Soviets had their own nuclear bomb. The balance of power shattered. From that moment on, the world lived under a new reality, mutually assured destruction. If one launched, both would burn. But the Cold War didn't stay cold. In Korea, the North invaded the South. The United Nations, led by the US, intervened. 3 years, millions of lives. No winner, only a frozen border. Then came Vietnam. What began as containment became chaos. Napalm, jungle warfare, protests in the streets. It was the war that made a generation question everything. In Cuba, missiles nearly brought the world to its knees. 13 days, 2 superpowers, one wrong move, and it would have all ended in fire. Espionage became an art. CIA versus KGB. Double agents, dead drops, and secrets buried under layers of lies. You never knew who was watching, or who to trust. And while the world watched Earth, both powers looked to the stars. The Soviets launched Sputnik, the first satellite. Then Gagarin, the first man in orbit. The US responded with Apollo 11 and put a man on the moon. Not just science, but a message. We are winning. Back on Earth, Eastern Europe simmered. Hungary, Prague, Poland, resistance rising, crushed again and again. But pressure builds, and nothing lasts forever. In the 1980s, cracks appeared, economic collapse, political unrest. And one man, Mikhail Gorbachev, tried to reform the system from within. Glasnost, perestroika, openness, restructuring. But it was too late. In 1989, the unthinkable happened. The Berlin Wall fell, families reunited, flags lowered, history reversed, brick by brick. And in 1991, the Soviet Union ceased to exist. No treaty, no surrender, just silence. But the shadow remained. The Cold War shaped the borders of today. It reshaped economies, alliances, and identities. It ended without gunfire, but left scars without healing. Because even when a war isn't hot, it can still burn.